Hi, Abraham. I feel like I've spoken to you a million times from my vortex, and it's just good to be sitting here. And for the most part, my life is going absolutely amazing. I'm actually beginning to enjoy contrast, and that's a good thing. But what I want to ask you about is this thing I do that I'm really brilliant at. It's procrastination. And I do it so well. And there seems to be, if I focus on something and I do what you say, focus on why I want something and I get into alignment with the feeling, when I'm done doing that and all the exercises, I'm really not in the mood to take any more actions.
Well, we're going to give you a really strong statement, and we want you to remember this always.
Okay.
Procrastination is a byproduct of being out of the vortex.
Okay.
Procrastination is the way you feel when you're trying to fill in your own grid.
Okay.
And you just can't buck the current. Procrastination is the opposite feeling of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you feel procrastination, procrastinate. Don't try to push through it. Don't try to push through it because you can't buck that current anyway. Go do something fun.
Really?
Oh, people are having a hard time with that one. What is your option? In other words, think about what it means. So if you have been putting things in the vortex, and you have, and now you pre-paved before you went to sleep last night, you've been segment intending, you got up, you did some meditation and a rampage of appreciation, and you focused on some positive aspects, and you're all tuned in. And now the subtleties of the energies are beginning to move. And if you do that on a relatively consistent basis, even as soon as the first day that you do that, you'll get feelings about doing things. But what you're saying is, oh, I get all kinds of inspiration to do things, but I don't get inspiration to do the things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And we say, that's because the things you don't want to do are outside the vortex, and you're asking for something that's not ever going to come. You've got to figure out why you want what you want. The best example that we have of something like that was Jerry harassing Esther about not booking airline tickets some years ago. She just couldn't make herself do it. She could not make herself do it because in her mind, it was always a grind.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to take longer than she thought was humanly reasonable. And they were not going to offer to her the seats that she really wanted. In other words, from her point of view, not usually a pleasant process. And so every day Jerry would say, they'll cost more the longer you wait. And every day Esther would say, I know, it's on my list. And every day he'd say, it was on your list yesterday, and the day before yesterday, and the day before that. And Esther would say, I know, but she could not make herself do it. And then one night, she put herself in the bed, and suddenly she had the impulse to go make those phone calls. It was an overwhelming feeling. She got up, placed the call to the airline that she holds the forever miles with, and a very bright, happy-sounding person answered the phone, and Esther said, I have 10 destinations that I want to book for. Do you have time? And she said, I'm all yours. And off they went. And every single destination, the girl said, I can't believe this. 5 minutes ago, those seats weren't there. I can't believe this. 5 minutes ago, those seats weren't there. I can't believe this. 5 minutes ago, those seats weren't there. And Esther booked 10 destinations with ease, and as they flew the flights, every flight flew. There were no canceled flights. There were no delayed flights. In other words, we weren't using the terminology in those days of the grid filling in. But procrastination is simply you trying to take action before energies are aligned. That's what the feeling is. You're trying to move something forward with action instead of moving it forward with the momentum of alignment. That's what it always means. And we promise you that once you start playing with this in the way that we've been talking about it here, the momentum will carry you, and you'll find yourself not needing to put things on your list to make yourself do that. You know those lists, things that I want to do, things that I need to do, things that I have to do, or my husband will kill me if I don't. All those lists, you'll just have one list, and it's the vortex. And you won't even feel like you need to make lists of it because the list will present itself to you in perfect timing and in perfect order and in perfect harmony with the other cooperative components of your universe.
Wow. So what I'm hearing is it's okay for me to just sit there and wait to feel inspired action.
What you're hearing is you have no choice.
Okay.
You can take the action and you can make yourself do it, but the results won't be pleasing, and that's why you feel like procrastinating. You've been playing this game a long time. It's not fun. You can make yourself do it, but all you do is carve out a mediocre life by making yourself do stuff you don't want to do. What you want to do is find the reason that you want to do it or don't do it.
Okay.
Those are harsh words, and employers all over your nation are going to be sad when you don't show up for work on Tuesday.
Yeah, they're not happy with you.
I didn't feel like coming, and so I didn't go. And that's not, but there's more to our message. Get feeling like going and then go. Okay. Discover the true power of your employment, the true power of your occupation, the true power of your clarity, the true power of the universe. Enlist the cooperation of the universe by doing the energy work first. Don't ask action to carry it. There's not enough action in the world to buck your current.
Through your teachings, I have moved myself into a very different place vibrationally. And I spend a lot of time alone now, which really helps. I have 3 kids and I work. And it's so much easier to hold my vibration steady when I'm alone. So I do a lot of work alone. With my dogs, I walk in the woods. And oftentimes, I walk every day. When I'm walking, the universe surprises and delights me because I'm so open. I feel this just, sometimes it's like, you had described this one time with Esther. I'll look up at the sky and it's just so blue, you know, or the frog that just appears in front of me, or the owl. And sometimes the wind. And my mother passed, or whatever you want to call it, croaked. My mother's with me. And I just want to kind of, I don't know, find the words with you about this because I want to understand it. I feel like I've been excited when, like, I had a friend croak recently, and I was excited that I was going to have her in this other relationship. And sometimes a lot of times I can hear, I get like downloads of either a thought, or I can almost hear my mother's voice, feel her smile. And sometimes I hear you as well. I'll be walking and I start to pose a question, and then it just starts, it's as if your voice is there. And sometimes your voice sounds like her voice, which is really interesting. And then I just know from early on in my life, I've always been fascinated with non-physical. I love cemeteries. I love thinking about where are they now, and that whole other realm, the idea of having a cadre of non-physical with me. I have felt them even before I knew your work. I have felt these moments of somebody's lighting up a path for me, and I say, I got it.
It isn't so much that someone is lighting up the path for you as that you are in alignment with the lighted path, and so are they. So it's like discovering it together, which is more delicious, and that's the way we want you to hear it. Because humans have been looking for someone to light their way, right, or someone to lead their way, or someone to fix things that are broken. And because it's contrary to the laws of the universe and the natural expansion, you can't go far with that approach. But when you get it, that when someone reemerges into non-physical, that they are still forward-looking with you, that everyone who, from your point of view, has been before, is still focused forward in the here and now, and always have been. But you haven't been looking for them or feeling for them until someone important and personal to you makes their transition, and then, because it matters more, you focus in a more defined, refined way. In other words, the continuity of life on this planet is all about this continual cycle. And many of you have been hearing us say things for a long time, such as we are all eternal beings and there is no such thing as death, and that consciousness continues. But when you are aware of someone who has made their transition, and you are listening for them and feeling for them and discovering them, we want you to pay attention to when your awareness of them is keenest. Because if you will let them show you what they will remind you, you knew it and forgot it and knew it and forgot it, but they will help you to remember in a way that will really serve you, is that you have already carved out what you want and put it into the vortex. And everything is coming into alignment in order to help you have a full and satisfying manifestation of those things. So the path is already lighted. But as you are feeling for what you now know is pure positive energy, as you're feeling for what you now know is a uplifted observation and expectation, it just helps to tune your frequency in a finer way that allows you to then receive the benefit that you would have received anyway. Esther has been receiving us for a long time, and she knows who Abraham is. She knows that she can have dialogue with us. She knows that we're on her side and that we will give her input and guidance about anything that is important to her. You too. She knows that. But Jerry making his transition gave Esther a unique question that she began asking, because is Jerry just part of a soup, or is he specific consciousness? How interested is he now from his non-physical perspective in the work that he was about before he made his transition? That's really the question that focused within Esther. And she was delighted to discover that his interest is keener than it has ever been before, because it is absent any resistance that was there. Now that's true of everyone, because everyone was doing work. Jerry's work feels important. This movement mattered to him, but everyone who was physically focused was doing work, and everyone is still interested in the children they birthed and the lives that they were focused upon. Everyone who has made their transition, the founders of your nation, are still interested. Esther and friends, following the Philadelphia workshop, went to the buildings and looked at the documents. And they managed to make their way in at the last part of the day, right before the doors were closing. They were inspired to go through a door that didn't even have a sign on it. And in they were, looking at the documents, salivating over the deliciousness of the words that were written. And Esther felt her body covered with the goosebumps and the thrills of all of those who had been involved in the writing of them, in the believing of them, in the holding of the standard to which you are all still striving for. In other words, all of that consciousness of all of that work still present and available to anyone who gazes upon the words that have been fashioned, you see. The continuity of this life experience from physical to non-physical to physical to non-physical is something that when you begin focusing upon it, and when you allow yourself the specifics of knowing that someone that you have identified, some energy that you know, is not guiding you because you need guidance, reveling in the detail of your life right here and now.
That's what it feels like.
It doesn't get any more specific than that.
Yeah.
In other words, you got to go general to hook into the energy. But once you've hooked into the energy, the specifics of their interest will thrill you. We have enjoyed this interaction more than words can explain. And as we just said to our friend, our favorite part of this interaction is feeling you click into place with the knowledge that you were born with, but that has expanded since you got here. It's nice to know that you never get it done. That helps when you're standing in the absence of the manifestation of something that you want. But it's also nice to know that you never get it wrong, which makes it all right to stand where you are in the absence of something that you think that you want. And we think that today you've come into a new place of understanding that what you want is for the feeling of it, and you can accomplish the feeling of it as soon as today if you want to. And once you do that, then the grid must begin filling in. We would like you to see this life experience as a veritable treasure hunt, because it is that. There isn't anything that you are deprived of, ever. Everything that you want is queued up for your realization. But you knew coming in that you wouldn't enjoy it if it got there all at once. And you knew coming in that you wouldn't enjoy it if somebody else told you what it should be.